In this video, I will be demonstrating a 3-exercise spinal stability circuit. All of these exercises will be done on a mat. We start in a quadruped position for the first one. I do a couple of cat-cows so that it's easier to find a neutral spine here. And then this is the bird dog, the first exercise. We're going to extend one arm and the opposite leg while keeping our spine totally stable here. You can see that I'm sliding my toe on the ground. I'm not letting my leg lift up. And I'm going all the way straight with my arms on each side. This is a good way to build some confidence in your lower back. If you've had an injury, it's a very off-loaded exercise to do for the spine. You can also progress it if you are feeling comfortable with this by lifting the leg after you slide the toe and extend the leg all the way. Again, the main thing to focus on this one is that we are keeping our spine totally stable. That is the goal of this exercise here. So this is the bird dog. Again, extending one arm and the opposite leg. Start by sliding the toe and then lift the leg once it extends all of the way. After we've done about a minute of these, usually ends up being about 10 to 12 reps each side, we're going to flip over to our back. The next exercise we will be performing is the dead bug. So the dead bug is very similar to the bird dog. It is just completely the opposite load of gravity because we're on our back. So we're still extending one arm and the opposite leg. And the goal, again, is still to keep the spine as stable as possible. Oftentimes when I'm doing these exercises to check in and make sure that I'm keeping proper spinal stability and control, I think about if somebody were to push me, would I budge? I want this to feel like you are just locked into place. So this, again, I'm demonstrating a progression of this by clenching my fists and pointing my foot or flexing my foot towards my head here. This just tightens up the exercise and makes it a little bit more difficult. So this is the dead bug, very similar to the bird dog. We're going to be alternating arm and leg. The last exercise of this circuit is going to be a side plank. This is a modified side plank because we're going to be going up on our knees. So I like to have my hand either on my hip or on my shoulder here. What we're doing is we start in a position where our knees and our hips are bent. Once I lift the hips up off the ground, I push them forward so my thighs are in line with my torso. I like to hold this for about 1 or 2 deep breaths. That ends up being about 5 to maybe 10 seconds. And I like to make a movement out of this. You can see here I'm demonstrating putting my hand on my shoulder and pulling downwards. This is really helpful if you have sensitive shoulders or an injury to your shoulder. It can just help to stabilize that. This, similar to the bird dog and the dead bug, the goal of this exercise is to keep our spine totally stable. We are hinging at the hips when we lift them up, but we are not allowing our spine to bend. So you can see here I lift the hips up, push them forward. The thighs are then in line with my torso. I take a deep breath, and then I come back and down with the hips. Again, showing me putting my hand on my shoulder to add some stability. That's really important if you have injuries to the shoulder or sensitivity. So with these, just like the dead bug and the bird dog, I try to do about a minute, which ends up being about 10 each side. So that's the spinal stability circuit.